Jesus, Fred has been saying this forever. If you are not on the Icon series, even just listening to it while you're doing something else, these are the best of the best, saying exactly what they do to try and help, because that's our philosophy. That's what we do. Now, y'all know why you're here. This is GPS Group. This is agents helping agents reach their goals. So we're focusing now on 2022. And we're going to talk about the focus that's needed. We're going to cover a lot of that today. Before this fully kicks off, because I don't really start for another minute or so. Here's a couple of things we're going to keep in mind. We're going to be working on through November and December. These are the Tuesday classes in a relatively specific order. Keeping it simple, meaning what are we doing? How do we know with serious clarity what we want to work on in 2022? Obviously, the next class revolves around goal setting and then choosing the different lead generation sources you're looking for. You can set your goals without knowing how you're going to get there, but you need to know how to get there to reach them. So we're going to spend some time and energy on that in the third week. The fourth week is right before Thanksgiving, so that's all about gratitude. Can't get past that one. Fifth week is time management, and sixth week is the sixth class is going to be a six-figure business plan. What exactly does that look like? Now, each one of these is going to have some homework for you, and the homework is to put you in a mindset of success, to put you in an ability to start moving your mind forward, moving yourself forward, and focus. What we're covering today, will you be amazed at how this works? So let's see. Again, if you can do it, put your face on. I love seeing y'all. It makes a big difference to me. We're here talking. We got 24 y'all. Boy, I can't believe we don't have that many on that class, especially because it is Tom. Let's jump into it, folks. Today's all about focus. We become what we think about. Everything else is to some degree or another out of your control. Now think about this. This is, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead on this one, but if you think about something and you put it in your mind and you say, okay, this is what I want. I believe in the law of attraction. I think that gravity works. We've proven that when I've fallen down a couple of times. You draw to you what you think about, what you make. The reason we have vision boards is because it gives us the ability to put ourselves in a position of imagining, subconsciously thinking that this is happening. And folks, this is critical. Your focus is the most important thing you have. Look at it this way. You do control your surroundings and the people in it. And I got to ask this question because I wrote it down. I thought it was important. Everything is about your success and what you want to accomplish. And that's personal life, the personal life, spiritual life, financial life, business life, everything else. Are you in the right environment for that? Now, I'm not asking about your family and things like that, but I'm asking you, do you have a mindset that is a positive one? Are you optimistic about the future? And if you're not, we got to figure out why. Call me, call Fred. God, Fred is like my touchstone when it comes to like getting your mind the right way. But there is so much good out there and you deserve all of it. Make sure you're controlling what's around you. If you're listening to negative speak, get it out of your life. Change that. There's no reason for negativity in here. And it's all about perception. I love that analysis, and you all consider this. So my first reaction to this was, I totally get it. On a subway, these two kids are just running around rampant all over the place. The mother's just sitting there very despondent and not saying anything, letting the kids get away with everything. And of course, everybody is getting upset because these kids they're young and they're terrorizing. And the perception is, how can she not do this? Well, the funny part, or not the funny part, the truth of the story is that the perception for all of us looking at this without looking for a positive or a different side of it, we immediately take what comes to mind. These kids are out of control. These kids are crying in church, whatever the case may be. However, with this particular one, with a lady sitting there despondently and her children running around all over the subway causing havoc, somebody finally asked her, said, "Can you please control your kids?" And her response was, "I'm sorry. My husband just died. I'm taking my kids home now from the hospital." There's a complete different view and perspective of this, and now it comes with compassion. I want to challenge you to change your perspective on things if you're not feeling 100% positive, because you have to come with positive energy to what's going on. All right, so here's a question for you. If every one of you went quiet for 3 hours, if that seems daunting, then just use 1 hour and focused on one thing, one challenge. Who here wouldn't have at least 3 to 20 different solutions or ways to improve that particular challenge, that particular situation? I look at it from health, because that's a focus of mine at this point. And I'm like, all right, so how can I make my house more health oriented? And if I sat there and focused on that, and everybody else here, if you focus on whatever it is that's important to you, I promise you the solutions will come. The human brain only uses we use a maximum of around 10%. They said Einstein used 15% of his brain. However, they did a study and they said the average American uses about 5%. Now, I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with the interference, and we'll cover that in a little bit, but that's down from 30 years ago. Are you spending some quiet time with yourself, focusing on what is your priorities? Are you giving it the true ability to let your mind kind of expand around what you're looking for and saying, I want to improve this, X, Y, Z, whatever it is. It can be personal, it can be business, it can be anything that you choose. Me personally, physical, GPS group, those are my main focus. My physical well-being, am I physically fit? And the next one is GPS group. How can I improve this to make everything we're doing more accessible to everybody, more easy to use? So these are getting my focus. And I'm coming up with some great solutions. And you have the solutions inside of your head to probably around 90% of the things that you consider a challenge at this point, but actually are an opportunity. Remember, you only use about 10% of your brain. Einstein used 15. What if you put the distractions away and actually focused on something with a notepad and just started scribbling down some things? In fact, we're going to cover that in a little bit as well. Did you all know that I found this out a couple of days ago, and I thought that was really cool. Did you know the most successful way to maintain weight loss is to have the opinion in your brain that you are actually a physically fit, thin, or well-shaped person? That is the number one proven way to maintain weight loss. Because if your mind thinks that that's who you are, if you truly believe that that's who you are, then you're going to start behaving in the way at which that happens. If I think to myself, I am physically fit, I am 297 pounds, that's my ultimate goal. 197 pounds, I immediately start acting that way if I feel that's who I am, because a 197 pound person doesn't go and eat an entire sleeve of Oreos. So my mindset, what I perceive to be the reality for me, will actually shape the physical reality. Do y'all get how that could work think about this. Everybody here is probably at one point or another, except for some really skinny people on the call, struggle with weight loss. And you said, you know what? I love Oreos, but if you know that you are a thin person or a better shaped person, you can walk past the Oreos because that's not what they do. There was a conversation with this, or a study that was done, and I was reading about it in this amazing book. Holy cow. Brian Tracy wrote this book, and I got to pull it up for you because it was just so cool. If y'all have an opportunity, Maximum Achievement with Brian Tracy, Maximum Achievement with Brian Tracy. It's a big book. Audio is phenomenal. But they were talking about cigarette smoking and stopping smoking cigarettes. And they helped these people for 2 months focus their energies and focus their minds on the fact that they were not cigarette smokers. And one of them started cutting back dramatically on his cigarette intake. He didn't say he was going to quit. He just said, I'm not a cigarette smoker. And he'd still smoke. And he went from a pack and a half a day after 2 months down to 1 cigarette a day because he wasn't a cigarette smoker. It didn't work for him. Now that's pretty cool because that's a pretty heavy addiction, but your mind controls so much more. Your focus controls so much more than we give it credit for. Now, the other person that was in this study that Brian talked about, which I thought was really interesting, he actually continued to smoke. And after about 2 months or so, got up, had a cigarette, which is what most smokers do, and started choking on it. Said, oh, I had a bad cigarette. And he's like, what's a bad cigarette? So he had another one, and that was bad. And he gave it up. He said, all of a sudden, his body just said, I'm not into this anymore. This isn't what I do. It doesn't taste right. It doesn't fit right, because his focus was on what he is going to be. So in the next 7 weeks on Tuesdays, we're going to talk a lot about how we can get ourselves to where we want to be and really excel in 2022 based on your personal goals and what you're wanting to do. But I wanted you guys to hear this today, that your focus is so important to your success. If you know it is true, it is. Absolutely. If you know it is true, it is. Okay. If you're comfortable doing so, I would love to have you guys just put in the chat box or send it privately to me. Is there anything that you think in your life right now, business or personal, that you're willing to share that you could focus more on? And I'm not going to call out who it is if you want to privately message it to me, but I want to talk about some of the things that will occur based on those. Anybody put something up? I just want an example from somebody. I used mine with the weight, and it's funny because I tend to walk past the sleeve of Oreos. I'm known for eating them, and said I wanted to get into, I'm going to control this. I have to manage this. And my mindset now is I'm a healthy individual that weighs 197 pounds. I'm just waiting to get there. Everybody here, you wouldn't be here if you didn't, has a goal for their job, a goal for what they're wanting to succeed in. Somebody put in there, I love that, just the personal mindset. And if you wanted to make your mindset better, let's jump into that one for a second. Thank you for sharing that. There's two in there. The other one is more listings. That was the focus. I love that. That's a great one too. For the personal mindset, if we're going to focus on our personal mindset, if we're going to say, I want to make sure my mindset is better, and you sat there and you gave it an hour or two, said, I'm just concentrating on mindset, probably something that would show up may look like this. Got to figure out which screen it is, so bear with me. Can you all see the screen? Yep, cool. All right, Steph, give me 1 second. So on this is my personal mindset. I have my daily goals, what I read, my family areas, my business, but this is what I focus on every single day. And I read these every single day. Now, the reason I show you this is because I needed to have something that gave me clarity on my focus. My personal mindset has to be on my family, my business, and of course, my health is involved in there as well. And those are my 3 priorities. If we sat down and spent an hour focusing on that, you know who the person that put that one out there. I want to challenge you guys to consider that there's a very, very good chance that over the course of an hour, we're going to come up with ways to improve our focus, to improve our mindset. Jonathan, become the #1 agent every day. The 1% agent every day. I think I understand that. Personal development, TJ sharing that publicly. Another one of our partners is talking about the Icon Award. You're going to get it. There's no question about that. And I would challenge that your focus is what gets you there. I would challenge that if you woke up every day and you read something or looked at something or focused your energies on something that talked about you and what you can do and what you will do, and you literally started seeing yourself doing it, that you'd find this improvement occurs. And there's more to this, so I'm not gonna jump forward just yet. Stephanie, you got your hand up. What's up?
And I'm sorry, I'm driving right now, so it might be going in and out. But yes, the motivation is like one of my things that it's hard. It's hard for me, and I've seen it with a lot of the agents that I've talked to. So that's one of the things that we want to focus on. And try to, like, you already answered the questions, focus, everything that you said. So
Stephanie, thanks. Tagging on with what Stephanie said, let's say what I need more business. That's what I need. I need more business. Okay, so we're going to run along with that one. That's our #1 objective, because it's something we can all share, and I think we all feel this, and it tags along with what Stephanie's saying. There's some personal development, same thing. TJ, thanks for sharing that. Lizette, mastering the one thing, absolutely. The one thing is part of the bigger goal. The bigger goal is what's the focus. If you say to yourself, I am a 20 closing per year person, or a 40 closing per year person, or a 60 closing per year person, this is who I am. And every single day you see that in front of you, you read it, and that is your mantra. I close 60 homes per year. I close 20 homes, or whatever the case may be. You internalize that focus at a very, very high level. You're going to start behaving that way. Now, right off the bat, I'm just going to use the Alter Uber example of that one. Let's say 60 closings per year. If I gave that about a 2 or 3 hour focus, you all think about this for a second. I'm going to come up with a solution that I can't do it alone, and I need to hire a transaction manager. That's a given. I can solve that problem and be more of that person by hiring a transaction manager right now to handle all my transactions. And I actually know that there's a lot of lead generation involved there, so my schedule now becomes a part of it. But if I keep saying that, and I absolutely know it's true, it will become true. But you can't give up on it. You can't quit on it. You have to say, I'm committed. And that's why we're 2 months early to 2022. What are you? Who are you? Now, we're obviously very business focused, and I surely hope that this leads over to your life. But I want to challenge you with the idea that if you believe it's true, if you know it's true, I absolutely know I am 197.5 pounds very soon. And everything I do goes that direction. I know that. It stops me from doing things that are stupid, like eating an entire sleeve of Oreos. And if I keep that focus in my mind, and I absolutely know it, there's a picture up here on my dream board. I'm pretty sure it's Greg Norman. He's wearing, you can't see his face, but his pair of blue jeans. It's this guy, and he's obviously physically fit. I look at that every day. I say, coming. It's right there on my dream board. It's set here. Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. Y'all see that? Right there, 197.5. Every single day I look, it's hard to see, but it's up there. I promise you it is. Every single day I look at that because I want to make sure I have absolute clarity. So if I'm a 60 unit per year closing agent, I know what I need to do that because I gave it my focus. I have my vision of what that person looks like, who I'm going to be, but I assume that right now. I am that person. Here's the part that's pretty cool. You can't give up on this. You can't say, well, I'm that person today, but I'm not that person tomorrow. And then I'm not. This is a change in who you physically are and who you are inside your brain. This is you focusing on what you have great potential to be. But if you quit on it, if you don't do this every day, if you don't own that this is who you are, it's not going to happen. And that's in your personal life, in your relationships. I mean, think about this. Relationships are a really easy example. I am today the most loving, caring husband in the world. And tomorrow I lose my mind. I'm just abusive and unpleasant to be around and not a good man. I mean, just a horrible person. That totally negates who I know I am. I can't do that, not even one day. It goes against everything that's appropriate. Claire, you have something to say?
So, George, thank you for this this session. It means a lot to a lot of people, and I can truly say that what was interesting to me is in getting my mindset around what needed to be spoken to existence, I had a stumbling block. So I started researching, I started learning about my stumbling blocks, and I realized that it was the internal conversation that was going on inside of me. And so I started teaching a class called What You Say to Yourself Matters. So every day and on my phone, I have 6 sayings that I say at any given point in time. The training of my brain and that mindset, okay, especially for women, because we're like Post-it notes. Guys, y'all have a unique ability to be able to compartmentalize like file cabinets. Kudos to y'all. Kudos. However, us ladies, we're like Post-it notes. So we get distracted by squirrels. And the internal stuff that I went through, writing it down, was excruciating because I had to sift through all of the other Post-it notes. However, it came down to 6 sayings that I say constantly to myself and to others. And I speak them out loud, okay? Because if you don't speak it into existence and you're not excruciatingly transparent, I did not and was not able to break through that internal conversation that was trying to defeat me at my core. So I encourage anybody, what George is saying is factual and true, scientifically proven. You speak it until you believe it. And for us ladies, there's a lot more Post-it notes to get through. If you need help with this, I'm here. Okay, been there, done that, got a t-shirt for it. So not a plug for me. I'm just saying that was my stumbling block to even get to where George is talking to us right now. I had to negate the negative conversation within my brain to even get to writing it down and believing it. So it works. It absolutely works. Thanks, George.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Read
Claire. I
them.
appreciate that.
Let her read them, George.
Read
Let
them.
her read them.
Read them. I'm sorry. Yeah, Claire, will you?
Yeah,
Yes,
read them.
absolutely. I am a wonderful
Fred.
Christian woman, wife, mother, and daughter. I lovingly release all causes of dis-ease from my past, and I now live in joy. My body heals through the Lord naturally and quickly. I treat my body like royalty. I own a multi-million-dollar real estate business. I achieve and exceed all of my goals and commitments.
Brilliant. Claire, absolutely love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I know that's very personal as well. So we appreciate that.
That's
I get
the only
asked
way
this all
we
the time.
grow and help each other, is being able to share our core with one another. And that's what GPS is all about.
1000%. That's exactly it. It's agents helping agents achieve our personal goals. And that's in all sorts of different factions. So I get asked all the time, because everybody comments on it. They see this necklace I wear. And on this necklace is 3 rings. And these are Tony Robbins rings, but gratitude, love, and abundance. And I say every time I touch it, I just said it now quickly in my head, I'm grateful for all I have and shall receive. I give and receive love freely. And I have abundance in all areas of my life. Now, I also go through, as you saw, I've got my family, my business, and my health that I read every single morning. And I'm surrounding myself. Y'all don't get this. I'm surrounding myself with you guys. You're a huge part of my mental and emotional well-being. So for that, I wanted you to know that. But it's so important that you do focus on who you are. Truly who you are inside, and don't ever give up, because it's going to take weeks. It'll take weeks for your body to catch up with what your mind knows is true. The subconscious mind is stronger than you can imagine. I'm going to give you an example. I wrote this down because I thought this was amazing. This is so cool. I want you guys to think about the idea that you're standing on a road and you hear a car coming. You turn to look, and your body or your mind, it's binary. It takes in information and makes very quick choice. Your body looks at you, hear it out of this ear, so your body instinctively turns this direction. You're not really thinking about it, it just happens. It turns this direction. It sees the car. It's a block away, going 30 miles an hour, and your body doesn't do anything. You step out into the street, you hear a car, your body turns instantly, takes a look. The car is 60 miles an hour coming down the road, and it's about at 50 yards away from you. Your body doesn't ask you what to do. Your body instinctively jumps back. Every muscle pushes back. It knows exactly what to do. Nobody thought of that. It wasn't like you said, okay, right leg, left leg, both of you, spring at the same time, push off the toes, go backwards, and then catch yourself so you don't fall over. Your body knows, your instinctive, your subconscious mind took control and said, this is mine. I know what to do. I will save us from that. Your conscious mind you made an analysis, it was safe, and your conscious mind, I can continue to go forward. Now, I want you to consider how powerful the subconscious mind was. It took every fiber of your body and had it respond appropriately towards the singular goal of you're not going to get splattered by a truck. Now, I want you all to imagine you hold in your hand a needle and a thread. And as you try and thread that needle, it's not easy and it takes time. That is your conscious mind taking over. It is focusing on that. Yes, of course, it's the dynamic of putting a hole in there. I get it. But do you understand the dynamic? It's a great example of what your conscious mind goes through. It is a laborious force and structure to get the accomplishment. If you're consciously saying, well, I hope I lose weight. I keep going back to that one because it's something that I'm doing and I can share freely. Or I hope I sell 60 homes this year. You're leaving your conscious mind up to it. But if you say, I am a 60 home per year agent, I am that person. I focus on that. I know that I am. Your subconscious mind starts acting on your behalf. It gets your ass out of the way of the car, or in this case, pushes you forward. It starts doing things that you need to get done to accomplish what you set out as your goal. And it all comes from your focus. What are you focusing on? We have a ton of instant gratification in the world today. Think about it. We got our phone, we got the internet, we've got YouTube. I'm guilty of this. It's something I'm trying my best to work on. I would love to walk away from this for one day and just see what happens. I know I would have 87 emails that were all crap and one that was important, but I would love that ability. Can you imagine what would happen if you were, I don't know, on an island in the Caribbean and your phone didn't exist? Skiing down a wonderful ski slope and your phone doesn't exist. Your mind gets to focus on what it's actually doing. I'm going to challenge everybody here that the very best memories you have zero to do with interruptions from your phone, from the internet, from TV, from anything else. They were where you were clarified and really focusing on what was going on around you. I can still smell the salt water and my cousin sitting next to me, sitting on the bow of my grandfather's boat. Distractions are taking time from you. Here's a great example. I showed this to y'all a while ago, and I was like, you know what? I've got to be really clear on what my world looks like. This is unfortunately a week schedule of mine. Now, you'll notice that these areas in red that are here, this is where I was wasting time. I took 3 days. I said, let's notify this. I figured it out that I basically wasted 5 hours and 20 minutes over a 3-day period of time because I wasn't focused on what I need to work on. Y'all able to see this? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I just said, I'm going to track my time. These reds, I looked at boats, I emailed, I did email, nothing. Your focus is your weapon. Anything you want is attainable if you focus it. They did a study. I can't quote the study, but if you want to read that book by Brian Tracy, that's in there, and it was really kind of cool. They did a study that the average American that is working an 8-hour workday works about 3 hours and 50, or less than 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Now imagine that. Less than 3.5 hours is the amount of time an average American works. Everything else is spent on chit chat, water cooler, talking, surfing the web, anything else. They actually studied that. 3.5 hours. Here's the challenge for what everybody wants. If you invest into your 3 priorities, 1 hour a day of focus time on those 3 priorities. So for me, family, health, business, right? If I invest an hour a day on all 3 of those priorities of clear, focus, and energy, all 3 of those will go through the roof. In fact, I'm saying this, and I sure hope my wife isn't listening in on this one, because here's my commitment. I don't focus enough 1 hour clarity on my family like I should, and that's going to change today. Because I am a family man. But I want you guys to think about this. And anybody that has anything to say, I'd love to hear it. But do you give something your honest focus? Can you say you commit an hour of serious focus on something that's important in your life every day? The most important fundamentals? I don't have to, though. Daryl, you got something to say? Okay.
Hey, George.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. Do y'all in the group do a word for the year to help you?
No, but I want to hear more about this. Tell me.
Okay, so my word, which goes and falls back into, is called ACT. Now, for me, anybody who knows me, I'm a type D personality. That is an acronym. Okay. Achieving, committing, transforming. So that word keeps me on my 6 list, but it constantly stays in front of me. It also goes back to some of the scriptures that I keep in my mind. So this is the time of year during business focus and what we're focusing on. A lot of times, if we can't get down to the root things that we want to do, a word of the year can get us to that. So it catapults us to remind us, just like you had talked about family and being specific. What does that mean? The more specific we are and what we want to attain, the better off the results. So just a little add to.
Thank you, ma'am. I love when you add, and I had to reply back to that one. Maximum Achievement, Brian Tracy's the book. What I like about that, Claire, what's really cool to me is you've got it surrounding you. It's right there in front of you. You have to look at that every single time. It's right there. I've got my motivations here. I've got my schedule over here, what I have to do every day. I have my dream board up here. I touch this and I've got to go through my little motion of I give and receive love daily, or I give and receive love freely. I have abundance in all areas of my life, and I am grateful for all I have and am receiving. Every time I touch it. That's why I put it there. Put a rock in your pocket and say, I'm going to make sure there's something. If you have a trigger, it's called a touchstone, because if you touch it, it makes you do something. Rock on, whatever you need to do. Guys, think about this. They did a test with athletes. And I know this because I remember thinking about this and thinking it was just really, really fascinating to me. They did a test with athletes where they had athletes run in their mind a specific race. And it was actually skiing, where they were doing the slalom course. Run the slalom course in their mind. And they had them do that over and over and over and over again. And they had other skiers run the actual slalom course skiing. The ones that did it in their mind, now remember, this isn't once or twice. They did it like 100 times in their mind, actually ran the course better. How does that work? The fact that they were even the same is unbelievable. Their body, their legs started twitching when they were doing it. They were there in presence. They were there in their mind. Subconsciously, they were actually running the course. The course is set up exactly the same. So they ran the course, and they ran the course better. The fact that they could run an average would have been mind-blowing, but better. If you sit there and say, okay, what am I? Again, I'll go to the 60-unit agent, because that's something I think we all share as our goal for success in our real estate career. But if the 60-unit agent, I said, this is what I do. So I'm sitting here, I'm running through, what does my day look like? Well, I get up in the morning and I've got, for me, 60 units. I got to be healthy. So I've got to go exercise. I do that at 5:30 or 6, and I get going in this. Now, don't forget this part. The 60-unit agent also looks at their bank account at the end of the day and goes, wow, I got $75,000 or $100,000 in my bank account. Don't lose sight of the rewards of it, because that's part of it too. But what are the efforts? As we said, transaction manager. Okay, that's a layup. I know I've got to get on the phone and prospect my database, whatever it is. If I'm working my farm, if I'm doing open houses, you want to know how to sell 60 homes? Do 65 do 60 open houses and do them at the highest level possible. That's it. It's that simple. That's all it takes. Okay. But now, how are you going to show all these properties? And what does a 60 agent person have as leverage? And that's where you have to create this. That's where you've got to say, this is what is happening. This is who I am. And I am that person already. Just watch me shed or acquire a few things to help support me in what is going to come my way. Your focus can achieve anything. There's a story that some of y'all heard about. It maybe you heard about. It's called the Miracle Man. Now, the Miracle Man got in a plane accident, and this is a couple of years ago, and I don't know this story as clearly as I'd like to, but I'm going to give you this, and we'll kind of finish with it. And the doctor said, you're never going to get off the breathing machine. You're never going to walk. You're never going to do anything. You can look him up. He's called the Miracle Man. What he did is he said it in his mind. He goes, yes, I am. I am able to walk. I don't need this breathing machine. I can do whatever I put my mind to, because my mind is the most powerful thing. He said he's going to walk out of the hospital by Christmas. And he did. It was like 6 months. He was off the ventilator. He taught his body, or his body taught itself how to rebreathe. His diaphragm, I think, was shattered or something. But he actually did what they said would never happen. And on his own 2 legs, walked out of the hospital. And he did it with his mind. Don't underestimate the power of every one of your minds. You can do anything you put your mind to. I say 3 things to my kids every morning or every night when they go to bed. I said, guess what? They go, what? I said, I love you. I said, guess what else? They said, what? I said, you make me happy. What can you do? And I make them say it. They say, I can do anything. You can do anything. You already are exactly who you want to be. If you know that that's true and that's you, it's already there. Don't quit on it. You can make it. Together, with your support, look around you. There's 45 of us hanging out, just chit-chatting away. There's a whole group of people behind you. You got to do the hard work. You've got to focus on what's important to you. And truthfully, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's just real estate, or if it's family, or if it's health, or whatever your priority is. Whatever your priority is, that is exactly the right thing. But it's going to take your focus. And if you trust yourself and you trust your focus, you can accomplish unbelievable things. In fact, I would challenge every one of you to write it down. I must focus. And then do just that. Figure your biggest thing, the one thing you want to just kick the crud out of. This is something you're just, oh, I want to, this is going to happen no matter what. Okay, whatever that is. And then schedule by turning everything off and going somewhere. Go to the beach. I don't care. Go sit outside in a beautiful environment and just jot down free thoughts. Write down on the top what you're focusing on, what it is, so you don't lose it, and just free form some things. You'd be amazed what comes out. Letting your mind start to do its work again. Most of us are probably functioning at around 6 or 7. All of us have the potential to go to 10. If you want to get to be Einstein, he supposedly used 15%. There's a whole lot left over there. Anyway, today's class is about focus. The next couple of weeks on Tuesdays, we're going to be going through goal setting, keeping it simple, then goal setting, choosing your lead generation types, because we are going to focus on our real estate business. That is the idea. 2022 will be a phenomenal year. Gratitude is the Wednesday or the Tuesday right before Thanksgiving, simply because Thanksgiving's awesome. I will show you all how to make a Thanksgiving day after Thanksgiving stuffed sandwich. I have a video on how to do that, and it's the best turkey sandwich there ever is. So make sure you buy extra pounds. For all of you that are cooking turkeys, I used to be a chef, so here's the trick. It's 1 pound per person. That'll tell you how many birds you need. And I like to go about 1.5 pounds per person because I'm a fan for turkey leftovers. And if you boil the bones down when you're done in a big pot and reduce it by half 3 times, you'll have the thickest, most awesome turkey stock in the world, which goes great in any soup you want to make. Those are my chef tips for the day. Remember, 1.5 pounds per person. It's going to do you well. You get the right bird. All right. What'd you think? How'd we do today? Good class? Everybody get something out of this? Right on. Cool. Don't forget.
Hey, George.
Yes, sir.
Hey, quick question, even for you, Claire. What's the turnaround time in your experience with when you start setting your beliefs and you start speaking out your I am statements? What do you notice?
That's a great question, Daryl. And I'll be perfectly honest, it's different for different types of personalities. And here's the thing. When you start doing this, understand that there will be bigger roadblocks that come up that you didn't know existed. So those roadblocks, getting to that core, is different for each individual. However, when you stay consistent with it, understand that there will be a breakdown before there is a breakthrough. I have seen it over and over again. I've been a life coach for 25 years and I've watched it over and over. And when someone is committed to get to their core, to get to their goal, there's nothing that will stop them, even the breakdowns, because they recognize it as a victory. The breakdown is the victory because the breakthrough is the result of what happened.
Love it.
I recommend, Cheryl, I recommend, though, I've been journaling for more than 20 years and putting it, I do a journal each year. And actually, I do the same thing as I guess Claire was saying. That's funny, I pick a word each year, and mine was joyous this year because of what last year was for most people. And then I just keep it in my journal. And what's amazing is when you go through a trial, when you go through not having the breakthrough, you can look back and you can actually see the process moving along. So I suggest that a journal is the best. It's amazing. You don't realize how profoundly you're writing until maybe the year later, or maybe a few months later, and you don't even realize it until you look back. Just a tip.
I love it, Cheryl. That is so I write down, I keep a notebook of everything that goes through my mind and when I'm doing this, and going back and reflecting on some of the things what I found is it was amazing how tiny a lot of the big issues that the illusion of these big issues were in the rearview mirror. They weren't this game stopper. They were simply a bump, as Claire alluded to. And Cheryl, thank you for the journaling tip, because you're spot on. Write it down. Get the thought of, oh my God, that was horrible. Well, okay, jot it down. Get it out of your head. It's safe for propriety. You've got it forever. And Cheryl, I'm assuming you've probably been able to go back and look at that and almost giggle at the fact that something basically fairly trivial affected you. Or quite honestly, if it's a larger event, that you were able to manage it at a very high level. And in fact, it turned out to be a win. that's just what my illusion is. Hopefully that's accurate.
No, definitely. And also for me in doing so, I'm in process of writing a book. Secondly, also, my children are gleaning from it because I've been able to, now they're going through certain things. So I let them be able to. And of course, I'm Christian. So also I'm placing scripture in there, all about the battle of the mind. You're talking about the mind. Do not conform to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. Then you will be able to be tested and approved of what God's will is, his good and perfect, pleasing and perfect will. I mean, I'm Christian, so that's what I'm saying, but those words alone are cut like a knife. I mean, they're amazing, and listening to all that. I mean, I just think in this world, this fallen world we live in now, we've lived in, but now it's even getting worse. I think we need things to hold on to. And that's why I thank you for this day today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, in the chat box, I put the book that you were talking about, Maximum Achievement. I uploaded it into there. I also uploaded another document called I Asked God. It means a lot to me. Maybe to some of you, it might ring a bell. Sometimes what we ask God, it's not what God gives us. And it's lessons to be learned in all of that. Cheryl kind of just alluded to it, what she was saying. So it was just something also that went on with what you were saying, George. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. And I also put the book you were talking about.
Gary, thank you very much for putting it in there. All right. So Tiffany, let's do this. Let's stop the recording. I have some private questions that for